If you watch my previous video, you'll know that if I could choose again, I would not do my PhD. Why?
Life's too short to do a PhD.
Just kidding, but also not kidding because life is really too short for a PhD. But if you want to know my why, you can go check out this video. Even though I don't think PhD is worth it for most of the people, but being a scientist and being a professor, or just the fact that having a PhD is still a dream for many. So today I would like to share about what I would do differently if I had to redo my PhD. If you are new to this channel, my name is Ching. I have a PhD in neuroscience. So today the video will focus on the life science PhD again. The first thing I would do differently is I would do job research throughout the entire time of PhD or even before I start my PhD program. We often hear that doing an advanced degree or even a terminal degree like PhD means more doors are open for you. Yes and no to that statement. The no part is because majority of the job in this world, worldwide, do not require a PhD. And there are always way more PhD holders than the position in the job market that actually requires a PhD. So PhD end up become overqualifying for most of the job, and that is the door will be closed for the PhD. Unless PhD is willing to take the entry-level salary the company is paying for their employee with just a bachelor degree or master's degree. For the yes part to the statement that there are more doors will open for people with advanced degree or terminal degree, it's also better to have a clear picture of what kind of doors are exactly open for us. So the easiest way to do job research is hop onto the most popular job board in your country. In the US, that is going to be LinkedIn. Type in the keyword that is associated with the PhD you want to do and then see what kind of job will pop up. Or you can also directly go to the company's website to find out what kind of job they are open for people with advanced degree. And once you find out the position, read through the job description for this kind of position and see if you found any of them interesting. And also read through the qualification to see if a PhD is really a requirement for this kind of position. If you find out that a PhD is not even a requirement, then you can basically just go ahead and apply. And if you are hired, then you can immediately start making money and you save yourself about 5 years of time. Another better way to do job research is talking to people, even though it will take a longer time, but you can get more first-hand information from people. So start with your friend and family and see if any of them is having a job that you found interesting and talk to them, ask them what their daily life looks like and what kind of requirement and education they went through. If you don't know anybody in your real life, then find people on LinkedIn, then send out a cold email or cold message. You will need to learn how to write those cold email and cold messaging, and you need to send out as many as possible. Once you send out as many as possible, usually 1 or 2 people will respond, and if they are willing to build a deeper connection with you, that will be really great. The second thing I would do differently if I start over my PhD, I would choose a better reference manager. During graduate school, I used to use Mendeley, and Mendeley is not the best reference manager on the market, but it was free. But it definitely gave me a lot of headache when it comes to taking notes, sharing my library with my supervisor, or even just create my citation. So if I have to redo my PhD, I would choose a better reference manager. And a good reference manager I would choose is FOI, who is the sponsor for today's video. FOI is an AI-powered reference manager. It can summarize paper and books and even compare multiple papers you choose. They have very positive review on AppSumo. FOI is very user-friendly. Simply log into your account, then the first feature you will see is the reference manager. You can easily build your reference library by uploading the file, links, or the DOI. Once the upload is complete, the basic information of the paper will be filled in automatically. You can also edit the information easily if you need. In your library, you can create different folders and tags to organize your paper and even share your library with your colleagues. When reading the paper, taking notes is super easy. A user can even highlight figures and different sections of the paper, and all the notes, are stored in a really clean format. When I was in graduate school, my notes are like everywhere, but FOI allows you to store all your digital notes in just one place. If there's something you don't understand when you are reading, you can also use the AI feature to find out answer very quickly. Other than the reference manager, FOI also offers research assistant feature where you can switch between different modes. The semantic scholar mode assists user finding paper on a specific topic. I tried to use ChatGPT to help me find paper in the past few times, and I found out that 99% of the paper ChatGPT showed me are completely made up. Those papers do not exist at all, but it is not a problem for FOI. In the data source section, you can easily access this paper FOI found, and you can upload them to your library or even access them very easily. During my PhD, when I was reading one paper, I ended up having like 10 more papers to read because I always want to check out some reference cited by the paper I was reading. And it caused a lot of stress because the more I read, the more I have to read. And juggling between studying and running experiment is always a challenging for graduate students. But FOI Research Assistant offers summarization and comparison feature where you can use AI to summarize specific paper for you and even compare the finding between two papers that you choose. Adding citation is also super easy. In the library, you can easily check the citation and bibliography. And when you are writing your publication, the Microsoft adding can make adding citation and bibliography just one click away. So if you are a researcher looking for the AI-powered reference manager to make your research life more efficient and more organized, check out FOI. You can first try out FOI for free, then if you like their service, you can upgrade to different plan at a different pricing. If you are interested, click the link to the FOI in the video description down below, and you can also use the coupon code BELLING30 to get 10% off your first deal. Thank you FOI for sponsoring this video. Moving on to the next thing I would do differently is I would do internship during PhD. If you are a CS or engineering PhD, you will be surprised I say doing an internship because doing internship is super common in your field, but doing internship is actually not very common for life science PhD. Most of the time during summer, life science PhD just want to try to run as many experiments as possible. Internship is a good way to connect to the industry to have more doors open for us in the future. It can also help us understand the culture of the company and the field much better. A lot of my CS or engineer friends, they all end up working for the company they did an internship for during PhD because they all got a written offer from the company, and it can take off a lot of stress associated with job hunting at the end of PhD. Moving on to the next thing I would do differently is I will spend more time networking with people. There's no need to emphasize the importance of networking in industry, and even though academia does not value networking as much as industry does, but it's still very important because who we know always plays some role in our future. One great way to network with people in academia is going to conference. During the first 2 years of my PhD, I thought when going to conference, the top priority is to learn science and is to show my science work, which is totally wrong. Conferences are for networking. Prioritize talking to people you have followed rather than going to lecture after lecture during conference. Poster section are also a great time to network with people during conference. You can always learn about science later since most of the presentation during conference they will be published one day, and then if someone's work has never been published, then that just means there's something wrong with their research. So prioritize talking to people during conference because that might be the only chance you can talk to someone you have been followed for years, or even someone you admire or even hope to work for or collaborate with in the future. Networking is both important in academia and industry, and even during PhD admin process, there are always some people get into the top program mainly because of who they know, not what they know. Let's just be honest. There are very little gain in this world. I play 100% fair. The last thing I wish I did during my PhD, and which is also my biggest regret during PhD, is building my personal brand. I truly wish I stopped building my personal brand during graduate school. No matter one's goal is going to industry or stay in academia, knowing how to market ourselves is a skill we must have today. We are all living in a digital world, so understanding how to leverage the internet to build impression and connection online is truly important today. The easiest way to start building your personal brand is to choose a platform like X, LinkedIn, or YouTube, then just start publishing your content. Writing is easier than publishing video content, even though most people prefer watching than reading nowadays, but writing is an easier way to start. So just choose a platform you feel comfortable with, then just start publishing online. I personally don't think starting a blog or purely only publish your content on your personal website is a good idea today because there's no existing traffic or algorithm that will promote your content unless you already have an established audience. If your goal is to stay in academia, then scientists really like X. Like the big name scientists K-Tai, Erin Calipari, they are all pretty active on X. And if your goal is to go into industry, then you can start publishing on LinkedIn. If you have no idea how to start building your personal brand, then there are tons of free video online nowadays. So just find some video and watch a few, then start building your personal brand. There's no need to watch every single content on the internet because it is impossible to digest all of them. And also, taking action is always way more important than just purely knowing how to do something. Alright, thank you so much for watching. If there's any specific thing you think it's very important for PhD students to do during graduate school, please leave a comment down below. And if you are on your journey of career transition, starting over or finding your path, please subscribe and I will see you soon. Bye bye.